Hey everybody, this is Abby Finance here. We're on a mission to educate our listeners about money. Please subscribe if you like what you hear, and leave a like or a comment if you want to learn more. Today we're going to take a look at the Betterment investment app, and with the Betterment app, you are extremely limited in your investment choice, but it's a lot more simple and easy to use than the Robinhood app. So we're going to sign in here. Easy sign-in process for Betterment. And we only have about $624 in our Betterment account, which is, a fraction of our $12,000 Robinhood account that we typically work through and discuss with you guys. But still, we have a decent return, making $22 off of $600 basically. And it's a pretty fair return. We've only been investing in this safety net account. I don't know how long. Let's go back and review. All right, so it looks like we started putting money in, right here in October. So we were deciding, what allocation of stocks and bonds do we want to use. Initially, the safety net account selects 40% in stocks and 60% in bonds. That's a little too safe for us. We kind of adhere to the take your age and subtract that from 100 and then apply that to your bonds allocation. And then what's left over, you should apply to the stocks allocation. So when we were 21 years old in October of 2016, we actually allocated 79% to stocks and 21% to bonds. And we started out here with simple automatic deposits, meaning every week we were just depositing $19.17, which I assume that looks like a very random number to you guys, and it is, but it is actually what they had calculated out here for a projected balance. That was a number that they had projected out for $1,000 after one full year. So they said if I deposited $19.17 every week for 1 year, I would hit my projected goal of $1,000. So actually since then, since I was actually fairly satisfied with the Betterment app and the safety net performance, I've actually increased my auto deposit up from $19 all the way up to $50. And as you can tell here, that's increased my projected balance from about $1,000 to well over $3,000. And the time frame for that is just in the next 7 months. So I don't know what 7 months from now is. Yeah, that would be October again. Sorry, I do. So yeah, I guess in October, if I continue investing about $50 every Friday the way I have been, it looks like that this account should grow to about $3,325 by then. So that seems like a very great decision to be making with your money, right? And for a lot of people, I think the Betterment app is probably the best solution out there. It is by far and away the most simple investment app you can use. It's very cost friendly. It's not free like the Robinhood app, but these guys are really managing a portfolio for you. As you can see here on the portfolio tab, here's my allocation. So when I turned 22, I actually upped the bond ratio up to 22% and back down stocks by 1%. So now looking through a little bit of what's actually in the portfolio. So here's the stock makeup. Vanguard has a lot of ETFs out there. This one is the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. So this essentially owns, exposure to every single company in the U.S. stock market. And if you're in the Robinhood app, you can look that up with VTI. And I would suggest, if you want to do things on your own, this would probably be one of your staple holdings for a Robinhood account. We're not going to go through all the different stock holdings that we have here, but something that's interesting is that Betterment really values developed markets and emerging markets, which are international investments, which means that they're outside of the United States. And in Robinhood, you only are able to trade United States of America companies. So this allows you some international exposure with your investments. And the same is true with your bonds as well. You can have international bonds and emerging market bonds as well. So those are some of the highlights of the Betterment app and this safety net account in particular. Another interesting thing that I like to look at is the activity page. And my favorite thing to see, as always, if you guys have been watching my Robinhood videos, I love dividends. And what's cool about Betterment is you're able to basically take fractional shares. So you're not buying a number of shares the way you are in Robinhood, but you're just depositing a set amount of money, $50 per week, and it's getting allocated to this pre-selected portfolio of like this is representative of probably 5,000 different stocks and maybe 2,000, 3,000 different bonds here. It's highly diversified, extremely safe investing. And if you were to continue doing this for 20, 30 years, you would be multiplying your money over time with compound interest. So yeah, again, looking at our dividends here, 24 cents, it's pretty solid. And it'll also show market changes as a summary as opposed to like intraday price changes, the way that Robinhood ticks up and down basically every second of every day. And the deal with showing the summarized market change in the activity tab is that it encourages investors to not really pay too much time to the market. They don't spend a lot of time monitoring prices. They don't spend a lot of time monitoring their account value because it's just not really that important. Over the long run, like stocks and bonds go up in value, and you're going to be making money by being invested as opposed to, going out and buying $500 worth of clothes or making another silly purchase with your money. So this here was just a quick review of the Betterment app, and this is our safety net account. We don't have anything else invested in a Roth IRA or a house account because we've had some changes of plans. We don't really want to buy a house, and we don't really care about retiring right now. So we're just focused on some short-term returns. We think we'll probably keep this money in there like for the rest of our lives if we can, and if we can continue making $50 deposits every Friday, that should mean that we have a fairly steady source of income, and we'll be very comfortable with that amount of savings rate per week in an account like this Betterment app, where we know our account will grow over time very safely. Yeah, so as I said, this app is quite simple, and there's not really too much to it, but I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you have any questions about the Betterment app or the Robinhood app or really anything about money, please leave a comment and definitely like the video if you learned something new. Thanks. This is Abby Finance signing off. Goodbye.